What's up, everybody? This is SanchoWest with another VOD review of the Fortnite pros playing zero builds. These are some old school pros of SypherPK and Nickmercs coming back into the Fortnite competitive. We have seen them last chapter try to get into the FNCS finals, but here they are doing their thing in zero builds, and I'm very interested in how they're doing as a duo, and more importantly, how the zero builds play out in duos versus trios and squads. For those of you who don't know, I am a caster for Twitch Rivals, so I have a lot of experience watching set lobbies in trios, but I'm very interested in what duos can do. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at their fourth game in the NA West when they dropped 17 elims and finished first place. What's quite interesting as well is where they're dropping. Normally Nickmercs and SypherPK, they love tilted towers and pubs. Of course, Nickmercs is the king of tilted, but here they are, and they're going to drop all the way to the east side of the island near the rock foundation statue. So let's see how that plays out. Of course, they were able to get the victory royale, but one of the things, like I mentioned in the opening, is how does this work in a duo setting? We'll find out. All right, here comes the boys dropping in a little bit past the Jones, heading towards the new Rainbow Rentals area, which back in chapter 2 was my go-to place to go for a lot of solos. So this area is going to give them a lot of situations to loot up properly. You can have some fishing holes as well, and you could do some nice rotations if they want to with boats. Let's go ahead and take a look at the battle map, because like I mentioned, this is in the compete tab, and see where these guys' journey went. As you can see, they go through the Joneses, rotate through the gas station, so there's going to be a lot of traffic area. The Joneses area is a great place for people to land who, you know, Clicks lands there for FNCS, and Day lands there a lot as well too. But this gas station right here is a highly popular traffic zone. You see the rotations from Rocky Reels. You also see some rotates down from Condo Canyons, but you see they get some action there. They go to the blimp at Tilted Towers. I don't think they go up to it. It looks like this end game is going to be at the fortress, and you can see the boys rotate up to the top of the mountain. So let's just see how all that plays out. They do hit up a couple of bushes along the way, and that's what I really like about the battle map. Now, the thing about trios and squads and zero build, you have so many angles to cover. You don't have to worry about, your whole squad could basically watch, as I mentioned multiple times, the rotational wedge. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward into the action. Of course, we got Nickmercs and SypherPK, who finished in 15th place in NAE. So no doubt I wanted to watch this to see how they do. Let's go ahead and fast forward into the action here, because they do not get any battles along the way, considering that we saw on the battle map. Now, they're going to go ahead and third party into the situation very nicely here. The one thing I hope people start learning about zero builds is please do not, in your best interest, overextend. And most of the time, if you just stay out in the outskirts of an engagement, you do well. And go to the burst. Nice. Some nice tags from SypherPK. This mode has been working really well for Sypher. Let me turn on some player tags real quick. Player tags, nameplates, there you go. All right, so now we have Nickmercs making his push in. So get a nice knock, and Sypher really lit up the other player here. Gonna mantle up to the building, the natural high ground. When I use natural terrain, I mean buildings as well. I mean natural terrain, you could say structures as well, but in Fortnite, as a caster, when it comes to FNCS, I always use the words natural terrain when it comes to buildings, because it's the in-game. Nickmercs is now in a little 50-50. With Nickmercs' aim, he's usually going to win those 50-50. Sypher already picked up 2 elims. So this is a great third party into the Joneses. They're going to get some nice upgrades as well. They clear out easily the Joneses, and that is what the dangers is in a high competitive lobby. And no matter what the mode, build or zero build, is if you land in this POI, you got to expect the outskirt teams, like the people at Rainbow, to come on in. So they do that very nicely, very easily, mind you. But it all started off with SypherPK getting some clean shots. Let's fast forward more into the action, as they're going to go ahead and visit Bunker Jonesy. Some great kits here. Looks like Sypher's going to use a drum, and Nickmercs is going to use the new Ranger shotgun. Me personally, I love the Ranger shotgun. It has a 1-shell shot. but it does so much damage if you could hit your aim. And if you're patient, like a player like Nickmercs, if you watch his gameplay, he really sets up angles well. He's really waits for the perfect opportunity. He reads his opponents well as well. So he's going to get the optimal shot into you. So they got the Joneses completely free. And this was something that they learned in a tournament that they did together, where instead of landing in Tilted Towers, they went ahead in the last Lightning Cup, I believe. They went ahead and landed on the outskirts of Tilted Towers and rotated in. So rather than going in a high, what I like to say, octane area, they go into a place that has a high octane action, but they can take advantage and third party in and maybe pick up multiple elims. And right now, the boys have a 3 elim point right there. Nice vehicle rotate to get themselves into the gas station. They see another fight brewing. Let's see where they set up. It's very important. All right. They're going to go ahead and get a free gas up, but more importantly, holy, the beams. So let me rewind that a little bit. And you can see, like, this is what people need to learn in zero builds, is setting up these angles that will give you optimal coverage of an area is what I'm trying to find here. So Nickmercs is going to park here, going to try to gas up. There's a call out that someone's here, but let me go ahead and right when they start shooting and show you where they're positioned. Sypher starts to line up. So where these guys are, just drone it out here. Great position. They're not stacked up to each other. I mean, Sypher could be a little bit further out, but you can see like this triangle they have on this poor player, right? If this player would turn around and respond, who are they going to shoot at, right? 1, 2, 3 spray is so good. And they create this opportunity for iBlue Rose to get eliminated very quickly here. But Sypher right now, I would have to say, is doing really well with his shots this game. All right, let's zoom in on his POV. Some nice shots right there from the boys. It's just a matter of just creating so much pressure. Nice slide in. Cowcatcher's not going to stop this right here. Nickmercs comes in with the backside. Now they face a tank, so let's see how they handle the tank. Nickmercs does have an anvil rocket. Most likely will pick up this gold drum shotgun. Let's take a look. All right. They use the shockwaves. Here comes the anvil. Doesn't wait for it to lock. Just to get some distance. Keep shooting it. Sypher's using a great use of the shockwaves to create angles here. So now they have the angles. Like I mentioned before, don't be afraid to separate. You see SypherPK and Nickmercs are picking up different angles. We saw it before. Now it's just a little bit of a wider spread between the two. SypherPK is going to create pressure on one, and Nickmercs is going to have the focus. It basically ends up being 1v1. So this is what it comes down to. So zero builds is who can win 1v1 sometimes. But when you separate this far, what could end up happening is someone could essentially collapse on you. So SypherPK wants this. Now they're really spread apart here. Now, I want you to pay attention to the tank. The tank gets comms to decide, let's go ahead and push Sypher. So now it's up to Nickmercs to kind of discourage that. So this is the danger of separating too far apart. You still got to be within, I would say, shooting distance. Get the sight lines for your teammates to make sure that nothing bad happens to them. And SypherPK and Nickmercs do that really well. You see Sypher being pinned down. Great use of the shockwave. When things get a little hairy, go ahead and fall back. Nickmercs is going to have to use the anvil. Gets a great tag with the anvil rocket here. Puts so much pressure on tanks. Don't be afraid of the tank. And okay, I can see this happening right here. Nickmercs is going to use the anvil rocket just like a grenade. The grenade is a great way to flush people out. This is going to flush out this player. Sypher right there is going to be there with the beams. Gets one. The other player tries to help him out. You gotta bail, man. At that situation, with the reboot cards that last so long, if I was the other team, I would have just left them behind and just moved on. So great work from Nickmercs and SypherPK. They're going to have so much here to loot. And so many teams right now are stacked so far in Zone 2. So this is some great things. It's like, I feel like they don't, like in zero builds, there's not a lot of time to worry about your loot. Okay, someone's pushing Sypher here. This is very scary. Just dodges there, uses the shockwave to get away. And you just, at that point, if someone drives up to you, if someone drives up to you that way, you just need to discourage them from stopping, and they do. Looks like this team just wants to get to in-game. You have to read the situation. Sometimes someone wants business, sometimes someone doesn't want any business. That team did not want any business. Great beams, damage the car, discourage them from stopping. Sypher does this great job there, getting Nickmercs back into opportunity to loot here. One thing I want to point out is always value chug splashes in 0 builds more than anything. As you can see here as well, don't dip into your shields if you can't. Use clownberries, use mushrooms, use coconuts, use slurp barrels. So that way you could move on with as many heals and shields as possible. In a competitive setting, in 0 builds and builds, the biggest tip is to use the consumables first, so that when you get into in-game and you can't loot, there's no ability to farm or anything like that, you need to rely on what you bring into in-game. And right now, Nickmercs and Sypher are doing a great job bringing it into in-game. Looks like Sypher did upgrade to that golden drum shotgun. All right, we're going to fast forward into a little bit more. Looks like they're satisfied with here, and they're going to rotate into Tilted. Now, granted, they could play this a little bit where, let's take a look at the map. They could, if they wanted to, hold out Rocky. If they wanted to. But we saw on the battle map, they don't decide to do that. It's a very risky situation to storm hold people in a non-set lobby like this, in a opens, because you don't know who's going to rotate through. You don't understand like how way people play, because this is so random. So sometimes you got to stick with the tried and true of playing it safe, but I'm interested to see what these guys decide to do. Because if they want to, they could stop that team in Rocky. Like, they could pause right here and stop. But they know, you know, the tilted blimps at play. They could try to get away from the tilted blimp. After many, many different set lobbies and Twitch rivals, we've learned that players are starting to avoid the blimps. And we'll see if these guys do that. Now, he's using the cow catchers. You see the cow catcher with the chonker tires, you could just go through builds like no problem. And they were able to make this great rotate. I like this rotate because I think there's a collection of bushes that they decide to do. This is quite interesting. Now, normally you would play edge, but I think because there's a collection of bushes right here on the map, I'm going to try to zoom in, scroll wheel as much as possible. Right here, right above the Zem right here, right? Right there is a great hold. And I think if they do that, that's pretty smart. Let's see where they go. So, okay. Wow. Okay. I see. I now remember. Okay, so instead of storm holding on a low ground back here, southeast of Tilted Towers, they go to here, this big mountain that is overlooking the fortress, overlooking all this area, and that's going to be able to hold out Command Cavern and anyone coming from the north side up there in Logjam. So I like that play. Being able to get there early prevents anyone else to take it. And as well, we already talked about, I mentioned in previous VOD reviews and the others that we, you know, with Tfue and Elixa and Nick A30, is I always talk about this rotational wedge, the pie that they went into. So the pie that they went into, they saw that was kind of populated. So they go to the other side, Command Cavern, which is normally not as populated because people tend to not avoid Command Cavern in these kind of lobbies because they don't want to die off the rip. So instead, they go up to this point here, which is still very risky considering that, like I mentioned, there's so many angles they have to cover. Nice. Great hold right here. This poor team just had no shot. They're out in the open. It's the easy elims here. Like, there's nothing this person could do. They should definitely consider going into the storm. They do get picked up by the other team on this mountain. Now, Nickmercs and Sypher are going to have to work really hard here to get them off. Nice shots. Discourage the return fire. Now they're looking at Command Cavern here. No one's up there, so it's only this team here. So, like I mentioned, Command Cavern, a lot of people just get in their mindset that it's just not a place to go to unless you're really, really good. Let's take a look at what's looking at them. So let's see. This team has all their focus on not only Sypher and Nickmercs, but they're looking at the fortress as well. They don't have any cow catchers or anything like that. This team's loot is shambles compared to Nickmercs and Sypher. Like, look at that. It's definitely a power difference. Sypher does get tagged here. There you go. Great, great, smart. Understanding that the car will blow up and set ablaze to their feet, and you don't have any builds to sit on. They pull zone. So this next zone, zone 3, pulls right on top of Nickmercs and Sypher. So definitely gifted there. They don't have to worry about rotate. If they did have to worry about a rotation, the Fortress Siege Cannon right here would be an option. But now they don't have to do anything. All they have to do is make sure their angles are covered. They need to make sure they push. This team now has to move. Nickmercs trades out with Sypher. When I'm playing with a teammate, I like to call that trading, and it is a very like a professional term as well. It's like if say you're shooting at someone and then you need to heal, you say trade out, so you just come back and trade. And the way, because you're wearing the same outfit, you don't know like who's at what health. All right, they're gonna go ahead. They see what I mean? With the walking in with the heals they could carry, they don't have to worry about, oh, I need loot, or you know, they didn't use any of it. Instead, they dip into what they have, and they're still really strong up in comparison to the other team that was sitting over here, right? Remember, let me see, like Sypher's looking at this team, right? They don't have anything. They didn't have nothing in their inventory, so that they give up the spot, making them rotate here. But if of course, I bet Nickmercs and Sypher would love to have cow catchers. So that team, remember, they were on the mountain. Look at their inventory: 5 minis, 6, 11 minis between the two. While Nickmercs and Sypher, there's just created so much pressure. They do have slurp barrels here, so the slurp barrels could give them a little bit of bereavement from the pressure. But they're not gonna let this team go. They have this for free. But look at all the the sight lines they have. They have literally 4 or 5 different duos ahead of them. Of course, these are solos. So 1 duo, 1 solo, 3 teams, and then another solo out here. Just a duo actually chilling in a car. It's just easy peasy. You can't get too greedy though. So I like this play right here. Change the angle, force him out, let Sypher know, and then Sypher picks that up, I believe. Yes, Sypher did. Sypher right here in the feed picked it up. But great teamwork. They have this synergy. They've been playing forever in pubs, so they're very comfortable with each other. And like I mentioned, Nickmercs knows when to go in, upgrades the shotgun. Sypher has eyes over him. That other team that's literally just chilling in the car is not doing anything. They let Nickmercs go for free. The side of the reboot, that's just going to give him that big sights are there. So Sypher's going to try to get anything he can out of that for free. Gets called over by Nickmercs, is that there's more people across the way. Great shots here. And they look at the ammo they have as well. Nickmercs picks up that player. The amount of ammo that they have is unreal. They have over close to 400 AR. Nickmercs still has an anvil rocket. Now this will be a great time to use the anvil rocket. Let's see if he decides to use it here. This other player has a better angle on him. Luckily the rocket's here. Sypher trying to get eyes on it. Doesn't see any eyes on him. The other player's going to slip beyond the backside of the mountain. Sypher still, like, for free. So remember, the south side of this, let me show you. The south side of this, I got to grab the camera. The south side of this has lots of eyes on Sypher. But they're so busy fighting themselves. Even a team from Blimp could shoot into that area. It'd be really close to be out of render. But look at all this fighting that's happening. In 0 builds, usually, let me put this in slow motion. In 0 builds, usually these houses are so coveted. Like, they want it, right? So you have all these teams fighting over this piece of land. Other teams are trying to be on the outskirts. And that just leaves SypherPK so much ability to do what he needs to do. With like no resistance, I want to say. Because all these teams wiped each other out. He's still not done with the team that's been in. Now Nickmercs and Sypher team shot the semi. That's the one thing about the semi trucks is they're very strong in game. Both builds and no builds and 0 builds. They eat up so much and they don't have back windows here. This truck is still strong. This truck may be Ford tough. Not sponsored by Ford. Tags on the backside. SypherPK, Nickmercs. Gonna have to go up against a bush bandit. The trees are gonna fall on them. Anytime you go up against a bush, it's just best to just take random shots at it. See what happens. This team is deep in the storm. This is going to be an easy duo beam for Nick and Sypher. Look at that. Oh, great teamwork between the two. 5 and 4 elims between Sypher and Nickmercs. I like this push right here. Understanding that there's so many people here. I'm going to grab Nickmercs'. No, actually, I have Sypher's camera back over here. This team now, understanding that the third party's on, and just look at that. Like, talk about taking advantage of this third party situation. This team, we knew that may not have much, and they have to make the rotate, and they want to get here early because if you take a look at the map, this is right here is the edge, and natural terrain is king in 0 builds. And if you could claim this, you still have a fence to work with. You have a very strong RV to work with. If you could push Robot Chicken and Buscado off, then you as you can see, it'll lead them to victory very well. The other side is as well preoccupied. So this is, you don't want to be in the middle where the house is unless you're like in the house. All right, here we go. They make their way down. I think Mercs is on his way down as well. Some big elims already happening for the squad. They're going to use a crouch walk situation so they will not appear in the visual audio. Does have a, uses that shock. If he went up with the shock and then threw that down, that would have been a better play, but he overthrows just a bit. I think he tries it again. Yes, gets a better angle. Beautiful. Nicely done. Offensive shockwaves. Nickmercs has a big tag on Robot Chicken. Look, okay, Nickmercs does go down there, but the trade is there. I'm going to go back just a little bit to show you how good the Ranger can be. The Ranger, the only downside about it is that once you use it, you need a dance. And I call it like, you got to have an E-ass dance. You know, be very, very elusive because you need a little bit of time. And I'm going to have I have a lot of clips on TikTok that I'll soon post of me being very elusive with the Ranger shotgun. Mantling, all those kinds of things you need to do so you have time to reload the big shot, the buckshot. So watch. Has the Ranger out. He's gonna obliterate Robot Chicken. Watch. Look how much he tags this guy for. 115. Switches over to the burst, but he just gets jumped on. Granted, he didn't have any time to react, but I can't believe he got literally zeroed that quickly. That drum must have domed him like a couple times. Holy. All right, SypherPK is there for the pickup though. Great work. Using the SMG Stinger here. Reboot vans, they're gonna be unbreakable. Nobody's in sight right here to stop them. As you can see, they get this free res. No teams there. This team is taking their time. This Tex is trying to play for placement. There's plenty of opportunity to res up. The only team that could take it is Tex, but he's a solo. And Nickmercs and Sypher are just going to be able to heal up. Shield keg goes down. And this is just going to be a great hold for the boys. Right now, I would say their positioning has led them to a lot of success. The big rotate going from the opposite side of the map over to the north side was the key factor. If Sypher would mark that car, and I believe that the car doesn't mark, that means there's somebody in there. Another tip for y'all. Now is the time, you have the bullets, use them. Just like in build mode, you don't want to die with a lot of ammo. You're not doing your job then. And I noticed that in 0 builds, nice work from Nickmercs here. In 0 builds, people were talking about the cars. They complain about the cars a lot, but it's because no one's putting pressure on the cars. As you can see here, in a higher lobby with more competitive players, players are taking out the cars, putting pressure on the cars, making sure that these cars will not be around, shooting tires. I like Nickmercs. He's essentially cycling out the AR so he doesn't have to reload. Great work. Understanding that against cars, it really doesn't matter. So now they get pushed here. Ranger comes out, ready to shoot. Boom! Big tag. Gets Zem getting out of the car here. Big tag as well. Anvil rocket out. Yes. The team gets picked up from the other side here, but wow. I'm telling you, man, the Ranger in a squad setting, trios, duos, and squads, really good. Nickmercs now going to create chaos. Another like tip for sometimes you don't have to get the elim. You just want someone in the lobby to get the elim for you. It'd be nice to get all elims, sure, but if you could just cause, like, look at all the chaos this is causing. If you could just cause people to collide with each other, you're doing your job, because that means you're eliminating somebody else that could essentially win. But see, look at this. All this pressure being causing people to move. This team now is going to rotate over towards this team. Now they have no choice but to fight that team. And that's just going to be free opportunities for Sypher. And then this Tux guy playing for that position. But see, those rockets now push this team together. So some great pressure here. And holy, someone got melted. Sypher with the big beams there. Let's go back to this POV. And let me rewind that a bit, because that was a very nice beamage. Got to respect the beamage. These are one of the last few elims for Sypher in this game. Nickmercs with the rockets, as he saw, send the other teams the other way. Gets more rockets. Just to create chaos. Look at the shots. Nice tracking, Sypher. I'm telling you, man. It's like you can focus on your aim more. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anyone down below. Nickmercs still sitting in Anvil rockets. Sypher now realizes this person is in the car. Good beams, dude. Oh, didn't miss. Now that guy rotates, and now Sypher and Nickmercs can just make third party this easily. Literally obliterates, discourages from grabbing that. Nice, gets Maz there. The only danger is Crumb out in the distance. Sypher's gonna go in with a big rotate, gets to the backside here. Nickmercs cleans that up quickly. And now it's a 2v1. We all know where they are. And in open cups, you do not want to take this situation lightly. You don't want to meme. You just want to get them out, because we saw in the VOD review for the first TFU VOD review we did, they took a long time fighting the last player. And because of that, they were unable to get their full slate of games in the open competition. You're going to go ahead, do their due diligence. Make sure they get to full strength. Here they go. Nice. Oh, the shockwave doesn't do anything to the car, but man, this guy gets obliterated. Nickmercs comes in. I need to see I want to see the shot. The big dog shot. I hope it's a Ranger, because I just love that weapon. All right. Let me see the big doggy bite. Ranger's so good, bro. Worth a pickup. Worth getting better with. So watch. I'm going to slide in. Boom! It's just such a good weapon, man. Such a good weapon. All right, though. But thank y'all so much for tuning into this VOD review. I hope you enjoyed and you learned a couple things about positioning as well, about angles, and more importantly, working together as a duo like Nickmercs and Sypher. I want to put their Twitch links down below so you can check them out live. And if you like what you saw and you want to keep me in the feed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next VOD review. And as always, peace. Adios, y'all.